Good afternoon, Peter. Happy to
Good
have you
afternoon.
here with us.
Thank you.
So, as financial authority, we invited you today to discuss with us how finance can be integrated in the business adaptation that needs to take place based on what's happening in the world. And
hmm
that's basically AI transformation taking place, ESG, and net zero transition, and the transformation of the workforce. So, we have a number of questions for you for today, and it would be great to have your opinion on them to guide us during the session on how to take the right decisions to create value.
Okay, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very much. So, the first question, and let us frame first or set context. Organizations are entering a phase where business adaptation is becoming structural rather than optional. Three forces are reshaping value creation. As we said, AI acceleration, ESG and net zero transition, and workforce transformation. From a CFO perspective, the key questions revolve around capital allocation, access to capital, enterprise value, and financial risk and resilience. So, from financial leadership perspective, how can boards ensure these themes receive strategic attention rather than being absorbed by day-to-day operational priorities?
Okay, I understand the question. I think that we all realize that both AI as ESG and workforce transformation, they are all themes that are developing quite rapidly at this moment. So we cannot afford us to treat these themes as just another project or just anything else. We should treat them as strategic items, as we do already on our strategic agenda in the boardroom and with the senior management. So we should treat these themes the same way, with the same magnitude as we approach sales volume, profitability, and all other items that we monitor on the board's agenda. So we should treat them equally as important.
And it's basically your role as CFO in the board to get them the right attention, right?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because in the earlier days, the CFO was widely regarded as the one who checks the figures and makes the reports. I think that nowadays the CFO function has a much broader perspective. So I like to regard the CFO function as the one in the company that thrives all development and innovation, to create momentum and to make sure that all developments that are really necessary for the company, that they are treated as such, and that we do realize them. So I regard that as my responsibility in the boardroom. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So the next question that we have for you, Peter, is many organizations still view AI primarily as a technology project. From a CFO perspective, how should leadership teams evaluate AI as an investment and value creation opportunity?
Yeah, I do recognize the statement. I think that AI has rapidly turned into a new thing. Then it turned into a hype, and now we are looking at AI in a more realistic way, and it is maturing more or less. So there are several ways that you can deploy AI in your business strategies. I think the first one is, and we know already how to do that, is to reduce all kinds of repetitive work, to automate or to make a robot application of an AI tool. So that is primarily meant to reduce your spend. After that, I think we realized that we could use AI as a means to improve the quality or to speed up processes within the company. So then it becomes something that is an attribute to your to the value that is created in the company. I'd like to think of that as all the process starting from procurement all the way to the final invoice that is sent to the customer. In all respects of that process, AI can be a very useful tool. Nowadays, I think there is more and more opportunity to use AI, artificial intelligence, to improve the value of the company that is presented to the market. For instance, there are examples of clients that can interfere in the design process of a product to make custom-made adjustments to an already basic design in order to fit the customer's needs exactly. So there's a new way of communicating and to create involvement and more customer intimacy with your clients just by using AI as a part of your sales funnel. So that is a new way in introducing AI, and it's growing rapidly. I see more and more AI tools that are integrated and interacting with each other to create more, better, and more speedy solutions to the market. So there are 3 levels at which you can deploy artificial intelligence at this moment.
Okay, thank you very much for this answer. So happy to see that a CFO slash change CFO is guiding also the AI decisions by showing what the added value is and how it can impact the bottom line, but also the top line of the business.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a next question for you. The next question is about ESG and access to capital. Banks, insurers, and investors are increasingly integrating ESG factors in their decision making. How do you see ESG performance influencing access to capital and financing conditions for companies?
Yeah, I think that the ESG factors are more and more perceived as contributors to business models, productivity, and profitability. So I think you could say that deploying the ESG factors in your business is future-proofing your company. And that's exactly how banks, insurers, and investors it's exactly how they look at companies nowadays. It's necessary to be modern, to deploy all these themes in order to have a business in the future. So that's why bankers and investors make it almost obligatory to deploy ESG factors in the company. Otherwise, you do not get access to capital at all. Secondly, once you are eligible to capital, it has to do with pricing as well, because not introducing ESG factors in your business model is an extra risk to the future. So in order to acquire capital at a reasonable pricing, you need to deploy ESG factors in your business model. And secondly, there's a trend in the market for investors, because they look at those companies in the market that are able to make a transition towards more ESG, but they did not already start, but they are able to make that transition. And that, of course, is a potential value gain in the company itself. So there's more and more attention from investors for companies that are willing and able to make the transition, but did not start yet. So that's a value creation point of view, which makes companies attractive for investors. So it's about 3 levels, Maria.
Okay, great. So the transition market is growing, and it's a smart idea to step in the transition market, to get ready, have the ESG indicators in place, and have a transition plan, and just go for cheaper capital and investment for creating a more prime business.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for this answer. Then let's take the next segment, capital allocation in a transition era. So leadership teams are simultaneously facing multiple transitions: AI, sustainability and workforce transformation. From CFO perspective, how should organizations think about capital allocation in this environment? And as you are holding the pen for the financial perspective, it will be great to have your opinion, Peter.
Yeah. Well, as I said earlier, we should treat these themes as we do already with other more regular, accepted, so-called normal themes. So we should treat these themes as an investment analysis. That's a familiar way of thinking for all of us in the boardroom, so we are used to that. And we should apply this to all these themes we are talking about as well. I think that you should be prepared for the application of all these themes, and I think that waiting until you are hit by the developments from outside is a costly mistake to make. It's important that you stay ahead of the developments and be ready for all developments in the marketplace, as well as the regulatory developments as well. So you need to be up to date with all these items. And besides that, I think that over time, it's more and more the case that employees want the company to be sustainable. They want the company to have an eye for the development of the workforce. They want the company to be relevant with all new developments in AI. So the workforce nowadays almost expects companies to be ahead of all these developments. So it's almost a license to operate from an employee's point of view that you have to be modern in this respect.
Yes. So attracting talented capital means that you need to stay ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much for this insight, Peter. So another question, this time about financial risk of inaction. In your view, what is the biggest financial risk for organizations that underestimate the speed of developments around AI, ESG, and future-proof the workforce? And that this is a trend that we are seeing. Some companies, I wouldn't call them the laggards, but some companies are just waiting for it to maybe settle down, to maybe stabilize a bit before they step in, or think, yeah, maybe we can skip some investments here. How do you look at that, Peter?
Yeah, I do remember when I started working, it was almost a custom not to be the first mover, but to be the second or third mover, because then you could learn from the mistakes that the first one or two made. But I think that's a costly mistake to make nowadays. There is a market window for innovation. It is here and now. It's present. So you should take it. If you do not, you risk being or becoming outdated. You risk of becoming not the company that is innovative enough. So you will be lagging behind, and even worse, you will be regarded as a company that is not ahead of development. So should that be the case, you run the risk of becoming outdated. And perhaps even loss of market share and profitability, and in the end, loss of real business value. Well, the worst case, of course, is the demise of the company, but before that, there's a long runway of being able to pick it up and to get ahead of developments. But losing the momentum, I think, is quite a risky strategy.
Yeah, we are seeing that the clock speed in industries is really accelerating. So the moment that a trend starts picking up, achieves an inflection point,
Yep.
and then it starts accelerating. If you lag behind, you need a lot of time to catch up, or maybe you wouldn't catch up if the market picks up the trend, implements it, and wins market share. Do you see that also where you are operating, Peter? Maybe with some live examples, without names for sure for clients.
Yes, we do. We do see that. I think you could say that once you are on the move as a company, you get ahead of other competitors. Chances present themselves to your company, and I see with the companies near me that those who moved the first are the ones that are successful. Those who want to imitate and are lagging behind, the gap is growing and growing, so it's very difficult to catch up. And I think that we all know the examples with big chip producing companies or game producing companies, the big names from the old days. They are not always the big names of today. So I think they fell victim to lagging behind.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much for these wise words. We have another question for you, this time about asset value implications. So for sectors such as real estate, how do you expect ESG requirements and technological developments to influence asset valuation and portfolio performance? This is very specific for real estate, But given that you are involved in turnarounds and also in valuations from the CFO function, I'm very
Yeah.
curious about your opinion on this.
Yeah, I can imagine, because the real estate is always a huge part of a business balance sheet, or its company costing. So, well, I always look at real estate as in the total cost of ownership perspective. It's not only designing and building the company. Once it's there and you have to live in it, it has its costs of operating. So the energy consumption, but also the circularity of the materials that are used, the maintenance that you need to uphold to keep the real estate in quite a good state. All of that has an effect on both your footprint as well as on the total costs of living in the real estate. So that's the cost of the rent or the cost of housing. But that's all that is from the perspective of the company that is living in the building. On the other hand, there are those companies who have a lot of buildings and have a portfolio in real estate. For those companies, it's equally as important, because the value of the portfolio is also dictated by ESG regulations and also the ability to apply all kinds of technology to reduce the cost of heating, or to use solar energy in the climate control of the building. So these factors contribute to the portfolio value of these companies as well.
Yes. So basically, ensuring that your real estate is actual as asset,
Yep.
that it ensures also that it delivers on sustainability. If you
Yep.
are stacking more assets, ensure that the portfolio value also increases because you are delivering on ESG and that you are transitioning in the real estate market.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Yeah, so we still have a few questions for you. One is about the workforce transformation perspective. So AI and automation will fundamentally reshape workforce structures. From a CFO perspective, how should leadership teams think about the financial implications of workforce transformation?
Well, it's basically the same as with AI and ESG. You can either wait until the workforce is not up to modern standards, or you can actively have a policy on developing the workforce to make them state of the art and up to date, accustomed to nowadays tooling and the business processes. An adequately trained workforce is a true contributor to company value. And of course, a company that has workers as a real value, then the employee itself has a true value. And I mean by that when the workforce is up to date, then the effects of, for instance, artificial intelligence on the labor intensity of the activities in companies in the production process will be they will be affected, and this might reduce the number of employees that is needed by the company. So in the end, you need to lose some of these employees, and then it makes a big difference if you have state-of-the-art qualified personnel, because they can quite easily step over to another company and do their thing and be productive in another company, instead of those employees who are not up to date, because they cannot easily be hired by another company. And then there are a lot of restructuring costs and penalties to be paid. So that's quite an expensive way of the transformation of your workforce. So it's better to invest in a modern and up-to-date adequate workforce than wait until the problems reach the company, because that's quite an expensive way to reduce in the number of employees. I think that a study shows that it's about a tenfold price difference. So investing in the development of the company, in their learning, is about 10% price when you compare it to redundancy payments in a negative way. So I think it's important to invest in the development of the workforce instead of waiting till problems hit you.
So the ROI is very clear. Start on time.
Oh, yes.
And
Yeah.
especially if we see also the projections that within few years that you would maybe need only 50% of your total existing population. So restructuring costs are huge.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Then next question. So I've operated before in the turnaround and transformation expertise also at C-level, and I worked with a lot of CFOs. But not all CFOs are really aware of what's happening in the market and contributing to the adaptation of the business. Well, that's a very good difference when we are having this conversation together with you, looking into the future and seeing what's going to happen, and already starting to look at the business model and the required decisions and capital allocation that are meant for not only this year, next year, but for the coming 5 years or maybe 10 years, that will advance the organization value.
Mm-hmm.
So from this perspective, and looking at the role of the CFO, how is the role of the CFO evolving in this period of structural change? And what is expected from financial leaders today that was not required 10 years ago? And I think that you would be the person who would adequately describe this, because you are stepping in the field as CFO already for a time, as change CFO instead of just a regular CFO. So tell us, Peter.
Well, basically, I think what in the earlier days was not required as much as today is that the CFO is a sort of leader of innovation. Innovation was in the early days was typically appointed to a specific innovation manager or chief innovation officer. But I think that the knowledge is within the company itself. You just need to make a true plan, a business case, in order to be able to develop on the full scale of the knowledge that is within the company. So provide a business case as CFO, make true choices on what to do and especially what not to do. So prioritize in your activities and stay on top of all the priorities chosen and the efficiency by which they are executed. And by doing so, as a CFO, you can monitor the return on investment on that business case as well. So it is creating the business case, creating headroom in the company to be innovative and also make sure that return on investment is still on course with your objectives. I think that is, in short, the role of the CFO in innovation.
Absolutely great advice for the CFOs watching this. So thank you very much, Peter, for sharing your experience and also your insight about this. Very useful. Thank you. The last question. What key insight or takeaway do you hope leaders and financial executives will gain from the upcoming Answer Inside executive event?
Perhaps I hope the true takeaway for financial leaders is not to stick with risk avoidance itself, but grasp the business opportunities that are present at this moment. I regard this period as a golden period in time. There are a lot of opportunities that present themselves. AI is far more than a technology project. ESG is your license to operate, but at an optimal costing. So very important. And well, we spoke about the workforce and the development, the future readiness of the workers. It's not only an asset for the company, but it's also a contribution to society. So I think that there's a lot to look forward to as a financial leader at this moment.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. We have all the questions already discussed. Just reflecting back on a session that we had together, I think like 2 years ago with your team at CFO Capable. And we discussed that ESG is coming, it's going to change the market, impacting value. How was that for you there? Because we were a little bit ahead of time and trying to project what's going to happen in 2 to 3 years and start already moving the wheel. We perceived you as somebody who is future oriented, and the conversations that we had really were clear that you want to shape also the market using this. But not everybody was looking at it the same. So I'm very curious how you experienced that session.
Well, that session was very inspirational to me. And I think that a few of the other people present, they were not quite sure on the business opportunities that I just spoke about.
Yes.
And a lot of people, including some of my colleagues then, they were waiting for all regulation and legislation to be ready, because there was a lot of uncertainty then. Yes. But in 2026, a lot of that uncertainty is gone, because new laws, new regulations are installed by the European Union. So it's not a question anymore, or when do we do things, The question now becomes when and how do we employ new regulations, and how do we create them into business opportunities? And I think that is exactly the development of the people you spoke about in the earlier meeting. They at this time look at all the business opportunity that is presented by all these developments we're talking about.
Yes, great. So, thank you very much, Peter, for the conversation. It was
You're welcome.
great having you here. And yeah, looking forward to the session Friday to share this with a larger community and hopefully make positive impact together.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter.